Hey everyone, Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Eternal Evolution. For today's video, we're going to talk about the different bonds that you encounter while battling in Twilight. For today's video, we're going to talk about the Generalist Bond. Alright, now before I get properly into this video, I put this little part on slow-mo, that's why it's kind of awkward. I just needed to talk over a part I had recorded. I actually have realized, and this makes sense because I noticed it happening, but using the Generalist Bond is actually not a thing you can do in other parts of the game now. It doesn't say this anywhere. I looked through and I can't find it in patch notes, but I did notice that I was getting one shot, for example, when using the Generalist Bond going against other bosses. Like, I think I actually used that against summoners when I was using like my B or my C team. I was really surprised by this and I thought, wait, I thought the whole point is we can't get one shot. But apparently when they patched the summoner bond added to the game for Twilight last round, they also changed the Generalist Bond in the way it works. Now, this is me quoting from another person who's pretty experienced and does really great guides, so I don't know the exact when it happened, how it happened, where it posted. I tried finding a direct post, but I thought I was crazy. I'm like, how did I miss this big change? I've always been suggesting to use the Generalist Bond in other areas too, not just against the Generalist Bond stage. But in actuality, it did change, and I apologize. I'm not perfect. I missed that. When it changed, I don't know. Where it's posted, I don't know. I can't find it. But that is a thing. Do not try to use the Generalist Bond against other stages. I don't even think it works against like the create efficient lineups or CC Bond categories either. I think it really only works now against this specific Generalist Bond type of stage. So that's unfortunate because it was a really great way to take advantage of a different synergy, right? When you had trouble with a certain bond, like maybe you don't have great assassins or vanguards enough to do that bond, so maybe you just do a Generalist Bond instead, and it could help you push through. But unfortunately, that no longer is the case, since apparently around Christmas time with that round of Twilight. So if you've noticed things failing, trying to use the Generalist Bond, and you were not aware like I was not aware, that's why. I think the reality is only discussions on Discord and other stuff, people realized it, but I don't see any posts. I could have missed it. I don't know, but I really can't find it. Also, currently, the Prism Amulet is bugged while using the Generalist Bond. It does cause Leo to die. So this could be fixed by the time you watch this video, but it's something I've still seen happen. Please don't use that, or if you do it, try it. Careful. Be ready to exit the battle. Don't kill your Leo accidentally. But, alright, let's get to it. First off, the Generalist Bond, this is just a really helpful bond here. For this boss, this is one of the more easier bosses to beat usually. And it says can effectively reduce its damage. It's not like a specific buff though, but overall the Generalist Bond, when you have 5 different types, damage taken by all units in the party from a single target attack cannot exceed 30% of their max HP. AKA, you cannot just go into a really hard battle and get one shot. It gives you a chance to pump out a little extra damage somewhere that's very difficult. So I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to suggest what I would use for this. So Leo is a king. We know he can do almost everything. So he's going to be in here as a tank. Let me switch out. You know what? I'm going to go Gautier. +2 ultimate middle front. Okay. I'm going to use Gautier, Pain Rune. We're going to use the good old Leo plus Bailey strat because it works so well. But I'm going to show my example of probably one of my go-tos for using the Generalist Bond. So here, depending on your survivability, you could put in a tank to help keep everyone alive. You could put in a tank for some CC, for some crowd control, as long as they're not immune to CC. Now, the boss is immune to CC, but luckily the other ads are not, and they're going to try to CC you. So when you're dealing with these tanks that put up crowd control, like you can actually fight fire with fire and do the crowd control yourself. So that's something you can think about. Or you can just put in another damage dealer. So usually, as long as the battle isn't too hard and no one's dying for me, I'll put in Emma or I'll put in Daniel. Daniel is kind of amazing, not gonna lie. Daniel has just been so helpful, but so is Emma. That's one bot I used to do as well. So that's something to keep in mind too. So let's see. I mean, Generalist Bond, boom, that's 5 again, or Emma. So that would also be really strong here too. But overall, if I was using Emma, I would probably go in and manual and take out the boss first. Although you really don't need to, it just kind of depends. I mean, he puts up this massive damage randomly, so he can certainly... He puts up 9,000 attack damage, right? So if you go against the Generalist Bond boss here with something other than the Generalist Bond as your team, you're going to get one shot once it gets harder, right? You're definitely going to get one shot. So you want to take advantage of that. And this is a really good one to just give that as an example. So let's go ahead. We have Flashpoint, Pain Rune, all the fun. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and manual these guys and make sure. I'm going to take out the boss in the back first. You can go 1x speed to make sure it's easy. Boom, we're going to, all right, Bailey. Let's attack a few. And I'm gonna go in. I should have had Luke do decreased defense versus. All right, Luke and Daniel are already about the same time, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna take those couple extra seconds, use Luke's decreased defense, and then go ahead and use Daniel's smash. That way, Daniel will do even more damage. That's where manually can really make a huge difference. Okay, Bailey can't reach the boss, but let's just help take out these two annoying tanks in the front. And boom, there you go. Right? There you go. No trouble, no one's dying. So we have another one here. I'm gonna go ahead. This one should be pretty easy. You know, I guess... I mean, I could put an Emma to show for another example, but you guys get the idea. If you manual, you can just choose who you're attacking. Luke is not ready for his decreased defense. He's a little slower. So I'm going to let the other guys go first, and then we'll be lined up for the other ones. It's fine. So let's... Okay, they're getting their energy up. Let's go with Luke now. You can also manual Masrani to make sure he's buffing everybody properly, and to make sure he's actually healing all your party. So definitely keep in mind manualing Masrani if you're struggling. Because sometimes the AoE heal doesn't actually hit everyone. Alright, well that's easy. The boss is out now. Boom. So this isn't too deep into the progress for me, but this Generalist Bond overall is just a good example of one of the best bonds to use in Twilight overall. Just the fact of not getting instantly one-shot when you go into a battle can really be helpful. That's something you'll want to do too when you're getting... Once your A team has died, and you're on to your B and your C and your D teams, and whatever you have left in your roster, trying to piece together a Generalist Bond with lower level characters, heroes, can really help you just to give a tiny bit more damage to help take down an enemy. That's a strategy I would definitely suggest. And here we go. This is an example. I would have just used the Generalist Bond against one of these other ones if I was struggling, like Vanguard Bond or Assassin Bond or even the Summoner Bond, but you can't. So when you go in, it actually still shows the Generalist Bond as something you can do. It shows it as an option. It shows, see, like it's checked right now. There's nothing that shows like it can't be used, so that's a little bit confusing. But alright, that's been all for this video. I hope you appreciate this little series I'm trying to do, showcasing how to combat all of these bonds. Be sure to check my my articles on hellhades.com as well if you're looking for written guides. They can be really helpful for those of you that prefer to look at details versus the videos side. Or I might have forgot some stuff that I included in the video, but I did not include in the video, but I included in the article. That always happens too. It's so easy to organize your thoughts on paper, but sometimes when I'm in the video mode, I forget something important. But yeah, Generalist Bond, thumbs up, one of the best things to use while combating Twilight. Keep it in mind.